Lord have mercy. All right, be careful what you wish for. I had hoped, as many people had hoped, that somehow Donald Trump would stop just offending everybody, that he might feel like this is a campaign running for president of all people. He should maybe reach out to all people. And we were thinking to ourselves, geez, just knock it off. African Americans can listen to Republicans, listen to Democrats. Please, just quit being so hostile to everybody. Reach out. Reach out. So then Donald Trump reaches out. I wish he had not reached out, because his outreach is worse than his non-outreach. Donald Trump, trying to reach out to African Americans, says, quote, "Vote for me because your schools are no good, you don't have any jobs, and what the hell do you have to lose by voting for me?" Well, for one thing, basic dignity and self-respect. Who would ever vote for somebody whose appeal to anyone is this way? Now, you might see some crazy uptick by some crazy polling, but I'm going to tell you that fundamentally, if he's trying to get a significant number of African Americans to support him, I don't think it's the right way to go. And I'm going to tell you why. First of all, he doesn't even speak to black people when he's speaking to black people. He goes to talk to white people about black people. There is no way that makes sense. I don't think black people want to be talked about. I think we want to be talked to. But that's not even the worst of it. Listen to what he has to say. He says, your schools suck, you have no jobs, you have no hope, everything is terrible. Can you imagine if I did that trying to get white Republicans to vote for Hillary Clinton? I mean, I could, if you want to do the insult thing, I could do it. I don't believe this, but what if someone said, okay, white Republicans in the red states, you're poor, you live in a trailer, you don't have good dental health, you've been voting for Republicans ever since you can remember. Your grandmama voted for Republicans, your dad voted for Republicans, and your life sucks, you're miserable, your trailer smells bad. Vote for me. Vote for Hillary Clinton. Nobody would believe that was an honest attempt to do anything but to offend lower income white folks in the red states. You could not convince anyone that was some great strategy. What you would have to say is that this was an insult to people, and it was not done by anybody who understands anything that's going on in the red states. So why is it okay for Donald Trump to lead his outreach effort by attacking and insulting people? It doesn't make any sense. You know, here's the reality. I do not think that this is a legitimate, honest attempt to reach out to black folk. I don't. I think it's much more cynical than that. I think that what he's doing is he's trying to appeal to white people who may feel that he is too intolerant. White people who feel like, hey, look, I could come with you, but man, I'm afraid you don't care about all these other people. And so he comes out and he goes, oh, I do care. But every single thing he says is insulting. He doesn't say anything about black folks who are working hard, black folks who are doing a good job, black folks who are parenting well. There's a bunch of beautiful stuff happening in the black community. He goes with the stereotype that everything in the black community is bad, and then uses that to take cheap shots against, the Democrats. But there's no love. There's no connection. There's no sense that he actually knows what he's talking about. And he's actually advancing the stereotypes. Why? If you were really trying to get African Americans to like you, to feel like you are on our side, you wouldn't start off with the insults. Here's what he's trying to do. Donald Trump is talking to white people, not black people. Donald Trump is trying to convince white people that he is not a racist because he's willing to reach out. But he's not really reaching out. How do you know? The NAACP said, would you please come and speak to us? He said, no, I'm not coming to speak to y'all. I'm too busy running for president. Well, hold on a second. When you're running for president, you should go talk to big groups. Wouldn't go. You say, well, maybe the NAACP is too liberal. Maybe that's why he didn't want to go. Well, then the Urban League reached out to him, which is much more business friendly. He refused to go to the Urban League. He refused to go talk to the black journalist. He won't talk to any major African-American organization, left NAACP, middle NABJ, right, at least moderately right, Urban League. But he'll talk about us all day. I'm not stupid. You would have to be an idiot. You would have to be worse than an idiot to believe that this is an honest attempt on his part. The other thing I want to say is simply this. This idea that, black folks support Democrats and Democrats haven't done anything for us. I'll get to that. But you could make the same argument about the Republicans. You have white Republicans who are not doing well economically, who are not doing well socially, who are not doing well spiritually, who vote for Republicans every time. They vote for Republicans for president, and their lives are no better. They vote for Republicans for governor, their lives are no better. They vote for Republicans for mayor, all the way down to dog catcher, and their dog's life is no better. There's been no improvement at all in places like Appalachia. They keep voting for Republicans. No African American has ever stood up on a stage the way these Republicans do and try to rub the poverty of white sisters and brothers in the red states in the face of people who are suffering and say that's a reason to vote for Democrats. Because just think about insane that sounds. Think about what a lunatic you sound like saying stuff like that. You sound disrespectful. You sound contemptuous. And yet this has become a repeated talking point on the part of these Republicans. And then they say, well, look at Chicago. They never mention the funerals in Chicago when they are going to do something about it. They never mention the funerals and all the pain and suffering in Chicago when they're trying to introduce a bill to do something about it, when they're trying to raise money to do something about it, when they're on their way there to do something about it. They sit up on Fox News and they sit up on podiums and they mention it, they pimp it, they exploit the pain, they exploit the suffering of black folk to make a political point against Democrats. They say, well, the Democrats are just using you for votes. Well, you're just using us for talking points. So even if you're correct, you're no better. This is the problem that we're having, is that the pain of the African American community is being used as a political football. If you care about Chicago, if you care about Detroit, if you care about places where things are going badly, you should show up there. I want to say this and I'll let you go. Don't act like I'm just bashing every Republican, because I'm not. Paul Ryan has started to reach out in a genuine way. I can respect that. I don't agree with it, but I can respect that. I don't see Paul Ryan sitting up there saying your schools are no good, you have no jobs, that sort of stuff. He used to say offensive stuff. Paul Ryan has changed. Jack Kemp, the late, dearly departed, much beloved Jack Kemp, he was someone who would reach out. He would physically go. He would physically go to the hood. He had African American friends and relationships. He was a Republican, and he was a serious conservative, but he was a bleeding heart conservative. He was out there every day. He was helping people. Donald Trump hadn't helped nobody whose last name ain't Trump, ever, period. He runs businesses that he deliberately sends into bankruptcy. He doesn't have to pay anybody. He wants to brag on the fact that he's hiring people to work for him. That's not some massive gift. What, you want, a cookie? You want me to pat you on your little weird head because you're hiring workers in Miami who are Latino? Everybody hire workers in Miami who are Latino. That doesn't make you Martin Luther King. That doesn't make you Cesar Chavez. It doesn't make any sense. We have a big problem. And the big problem is that this And we have no standards now. Where is Bobby Kennedy? Oh, listen, wealthy white people have reached out to the black community and been embraced. Trump could have done that. I never heard Bobby Kennedy get up, though, and insult people and then say, vote for me. Bobby Kennedy would stand up in front of crowds and empathize and sympathize and challenge, but he would also show that he understood, that his heart was in the right place. Donald Trump's heart, I don't know where it is 7 sizes too small and it's missing. And I believe that his attempt, his wrong, misguided, bizarre attempt to insult black people into voting for him, to insult black people into believing he's on our side, is also going to be a big miss. I hate to ruin your Sunday with another rant about Donald Trump, but when I heard that he was reaching out to black folk and I saw what he had to say, I had to say something. Anyway, I'll check your comments. I might say something more later on tonight, but my hope is that once everybody fully digests this kind of thing, he'll go from 1 or 2% in the polls down to 0% in the polls for black people, where he belongs. I'm Van Jones.